continuing saga of just trying to have an outdoor adventure in this, basically the last weekend of summer. It's Labor Day weekend. Well, Labor Day was yesterday, so it's Labor Day week, I guess. Is that a thing? Who knows? It's a thing now. I just invented it. I am on my way to the Ruby Mountains. The original plan for this week was to be in Utah, hiking the Uinta Highline Trail with my good friend Devin from Backcountry Exposure and my buddy Brian, who you've seen in a bunch of my videos. That plan was canceled due to a wildfire that closed the western end of the trail, like the last 4 miles basically, and the western terminus, which was where we had planned on leaving a vehicle. When the terminus closed, we couldn't leave a vehicle there. You can do the math on the rest of that. Now, the closure was lifted the day we were originally planning on starting our hike. But at that point, it was too late to rebook a shuttle and coordinate all of, kind of the logistics of doing a 105-mile point-to-point. And we had already pulled a permit for a 62-mile loop in the Sierras, and Devin had planned on coming down. So that was our plan B, was this Sierras trip over Paiute Pass down into the Evolution Valley. So we did start that trip. We did make it over Paiute Pass, and then the entire valley filled with smoke. And we just kind of thought it was in everybody's best interest, health-wise, to call it. So we went back over Paiute Pass, back to the car, and Devin decided that he was just going to call it. He was going to drive back home with maybe a stop at Great Basin National Park. So I'll be interested to see if he does that, and if a video shows up on his channel of a Great Basin National Park adventure. Brian and I went back to Reno, and it was just kind of gnawing at me. I went home, I took a shower, I slept in my bed, I had time to hang out with my wife and our dogs, I had a real meal, but it was kind of weighing on me that I wasn't hiking. So I started looking into other options, and I decided on this Ruby Crest Trail trip. So what I'm doing is connecting the dots from a trip in 2011 where I had injured my knee on the Ruby Crest Trail, and I didn't get to finish this one section, the most beautiful section actually. And so I'm going down. I'm going to start at Lamoille Canyon today and hike in as far as makes sense, and then find a campsite. So I might do anywhere from like 5 to 8 miles today. Find a campsite, and then in the morning I'm going to hike over to, I think it's Overland Lake, camp there, and then just turn around and go back the same route. Find a different place to camp for the third night and hike out on Friday morning. So that's the plan. There's a slight rub in the plan, as there seems to be this week with every plan I've come up with. I forgot my shoes. So, with the help of my wife and the internet, we have found a shoe store in Elko, Nevada that should have what I need. So I'm going to make a pit stop in Elko, buy some shoes, and hit the Ruby Crest Trail. We'll see how this goes. I am not confident. It's been a rough week. Well, I made it to the trailhead. Did get some new shoes down in Elko. It's kind of slim pickings. Definitely wasn't going to find my Topo Terra Venture 4s, but I picked a pair that I'm somewhat familiar with. I wear them at work all day, and I stand, for 8 or 9 hours a day. I don't have like a sit-down job, and they've been plenty comfortable in that scenario, so I think they'll do okay out here. It's looking kind of rainy, but I was prepared for rain in Utah, and I was prepared for rain in the Sierras, so nothing different there. Tonight, I think I'm just gonna walk as far as makes sense. It is 2:40 right now, so not a ton of daylight left, but I'll just walk until I find a good campsite with some water, and then tomorrow I'll make that big push to Overland Lake. And as long as I make it there tomorrow, I should have no problem getting back out by Friday, which is the plan. I do have enough food. I could probably stretch it to Saturday if I rationed really well, but like Friday would be the most comfortable in terms of calories, but Saturday's doable. So let's see what happens. Back in 2021, I got the bright idea to try to boomerang the Ruby Crest Trail. Basically trailhead to trailhead and back again. And it's a 40-ish mile point-to-point through hike, which I've done before. The normal way, not boomeranging. And it felt just outside of my skill set, but still doable. And about 3/4 of the way the first direction, I twisted my knee pretty bad. Kind of limped my way back to Overland Lake, and luckily there were a couple of guys up there hunting unsuccessfully, and they offered me a ride back to my car. All I had to do was go down this Overland Lake trail, so that was considerably shorter than walking all the way back to my car by myself. So I took them up on their offer and I bailed out. So this trip, I'm basically connecting the footprints on that trip. I'll just walk the section that I didn't walk when I was trying to boomerang it, and I hurt myself. So that's the plan over the next few days. We'll see how it goes. Kind of funny thoughts running through my head as I switch back up towards the first pass. You know, I was hiking yesterday and the day before, and then I went home and I slept in my bed and I ate dinner off a plate and I did all my laundry, all my hiking clothes are clean, and now I'm hiking again. And it doesn't feel in my head like I took a break in between. Like I'm aware that I slept in a real bed last night and that I'm wearing clean clothes, but it all feels like I've just been hiking for 3 days, which is kind of cool. I'll take it. The Ruby Crest Trail was established as a national recreation trail May 5th of 1979. Details of its actual construction are a little bit murky, and I haven't been able to find a ton of information about when the trails were actually built. It is listed as a 38-mile through hike. I have seen some sources listed at 33, and I have seen others listed as much as 43. When I hiked the trail for the first time in 2019, my Garmin watch tracked it at 38.2 from the parking lot at Harrison Pass to the parking lot at Road's End. As I work my way up Liberty Pass, I'm seeing a bunch of spots where people have cross-cut the switchbacks. And aside from the environmental impact, you're basically destroying that slope's natural erosion properties. It feels like a cheat. And really, you're only cheating yourself. When I come out to a place like this, I want to challenge myself. I want to know, can I reach that pass? Can I reach that summit? Can I cover that mileage? And if I can't, I want to know where that failure point is. Every cheat, every shortcut erases a data point. And I want all those little data points so that I can train and get stronger and overcome those failure points. I'm up over Liberty Pass, and I've just crossed into the wilderness area, the National Forest area. So now, it's really just a matter of finding a place I want to sleep tonight. It's a little after 4. Figure I'll hike 5:30, somewhere around there, and call it a night. Pretty tired already. It's been a long day. It is about 5:30, and I have a choice to make. I can continue on the Ruby Crest Trail and just try to find a place to sleep, or I can go off trail here a little bit and camp where I know there are campsites. I do see a couple of tents down there already. Past Liberty Lake, I'd kind of planned on camping there, but there was 4 or 5 tents already, and it didn't look like there's any available space. But I can see some open space here. So, decisions. I'm just gonna head down here. I know there's water, there's a lake, I know there's campsites, and then I can head out in the morning. Well, I'm all set up and my dinner is rehydrating. I only walked about 5.6 miles today, but I feel pretty good about it. On Sunday, we walked a total of 12 miles, 8 miles to our destination, up over Paiute Pass and down to the lake that we were going to camp at. And I guess actually we didn't even make it all the way to our destination because we were supposed to get over Alpine Coal, and we didn't make it. Then we backtracked to Paiute Lake, where we camped. We didn't get there until 8 o'clock at night. We were walking by a headlamp, which was awful. And then in the morning, we walked that final 4 miles back to the trailhead, drove up to get Brian's car, and then all the way back to Reno. So that was about 6 hours of driving, 6.5 hours of driving. Then today,
to get to the trailhead here, I drove another 5.5 hours. So that's a lot happening in a 48-hour period. So 5.5 miles, all things considered, is pretty darn good. I will take it. Good morning. Slept okay last night. Tossed and turned for a few hours. I got into bed around 8. Read 2 or 3 chapters of my book. And then just kind of tossed and turned until about 11:30. But then after that, I slept straight through till about 5. Got up to pee and then dozed off again until 6. So I'm getting a little bit later start than I would like, but I do have all day to walk 15 miles. I was hoping to get a little bit earlier start today because there's a chance of some thunder showers around 11, and I'll be going over the high point of the trail today, Wines Peak, and I don't really want to be up over 10,000 feet in a thunderstorm, but we shall see how the day plays out. I brought these range meal bars for breakfast. I have oatmeal for one day and the bars the rest of the days. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. There's 700 calories per bar, and they taste pretty good. The only vegan flavor they have is molasses and ginger, but I like both of those things, so that turned out pretty good for me. I do wish it was a little heavier on the ginger. I am a pretty big fan of ginger, and my tolerance for it is very, very high. So I think they're probably great for like a person with like a normal level of ginger tolerance, but it's a little light on the ginger for my taste. But I'll be interested to see throughout the day how my energy levels stay with just having this bar and coffee for breakfast instead of my usual hot oatmeal and peanut butter and all that good stuff. So, little experiment. I'm really happy I decided to do this. I could have just canceled my PTO, gone back to work, be standing at a printing press in a too hot warehouse right now. But instead I'm here. I do wish Devin and Brian could have joined me. That was one of the most exciting parts about the 2 trips that fell through, was that I'd be hiking with my friends. But this is still pretty great. Don't think I'd want to be anywhere else. Uphill all morning on these switchbacks. I'm not even done yet. There's more up to come. So beautiful out here. Weather's perfect. A little bit overcast, not super hot. I needed this more than I can properly articulate. I needed this to work. And so far, so good. Definitely in my happy place. It's about 9:15, and I'm at this little spring that has been pretty reliable. I've been out here 3 times, all of them in September, and the first 2, of course, there was a spring. This is pretty much the last water source between here and the lake. After this, I go up over Wines, which is the high point, and there's no water till I get to the lake. I have plenty for the rest of the day. I don't need any water, but I'm gonna go poke my head over, see if the spring's running. If it is, I'll just camel up here, drink a bunch, maybe have some electrolytes, and fill everything back up. Well, I'm all loaded up with water. Ate some food, not a ton, just enough calories to kind of hold me over till lunch. I'll have like a real lunch later in the day. I've got 2.5 liters of just plain old water, and then on my shoulder, that bottle has a Tailwind endurance mix in it. So that's calories and electrolytes and everything. That'll hold me over for the next couple hours until I stop for lunch. I'm almost there. Kind of funny, all the times I've been up here, I've never actually touched Wines Peak. I've always just gone over the pass and then carried on with my day. So today I decided to come on up here. The official high point of the Ruby Crest Trail. Beautiful. Made it over second pass of the day. I got one more to go, and then I'll start heading downhill towards the lake. Whew. It's about 11:30, 11:45, something like that. And there was a chance of rain today, starting at 11. And there are some clouds, but it doesn't look like they're gonna consolidate or produce anything. I did get some rain last night around 9 o'clock when I was in my tent, but nothing substantial. So maybe I'll be lucky, dodge a bullet. So it is 12:30. I'm on top of the third big pass for the day. From here, it's mostly downhill. There's a couple little minor inclines here and there, but for the most part, all of the real big uphill is done. I need some lunch, take a rest, let my feet air out, and get back at it. Starting to look like rain could be a possibility. Hopefully it's not too gnarly. I've got about 7 miles left today to get to the lake. It's a little after 1, so doing pretty good time-wise and covering the miles and everything. Really hoping I can cover these last 7 before it rains. So just after 2, I have about 4 miles left. So moving pretty well. Hasn't rained yet, knock on wood. Just bumped into 2 other thru hikers going the other direction. I don't know if you can count me as a thru hiker this time. I am hiking basically the distance of the trail, but I'm hiking the same section twice. I don't know what that's called, but that's what I'm doing. It's beautiful out here. Just absolutely stunning. I am so happy right now. I love it. I absolutely love it. Not 100% sure yet. I think I hear water down below, which would be fantastic for tomorrow. I was under the impression that after Overland Lake there was nothing, and I'd have to carry all my water for the day. And I was a little concerned because even though I'll be walking technically the same miles, it's going to be harder. It's a lot more uphill, a lot steeper, so I'll probably go through more water. And if there's a water source after Overland Lake, then I can fill up there. And that's a little bit shorter distance to have to manage my water until that spring at Furlong. Kind of exciting. Hopefully I'm hearing what I think I'm hearing. We shall find out soon. I did hear water. A great little creek, stream, whatever you want to call it, running right down the side of the hill, right across the trail. So this is about 2 miles from where I plan on camping, which is excellent news for tomorrow. So when I leave camp tomorrow, I'll just bring what I need for that first 2 miles. Probably just my shoulder pouch bottle, which is like 3/4 of a liter. And then I will fill everything else up here. So that shaves 2 miles off. I made it here with a liter, a little less than a liter. We'll call it 3/4 of a liter. But still, that was more than enough to get me all the way to camp.
knowing that I have this water source 2 miles after my campsite, it's going to make managing my water tomorrow so much easier. Oh, this is fantastic. So there's another on-trail water source, about half a mile from the last one. So that's pretty cool. I like water. Helpful when you're on a trip like this. So I found a pretty nice campsite at Overland Lake. It's actually kind of funny. This is the site I wanted the last time I was here, but it was occupied. And this time, the site that I took was occupied, and this one was open. So, serendipitous. I realized today is my 6th anniversary of posting to YouTube. I posted my first video September 3rd, 6 years ago. So it's kind of appropriate that I'm on trail and making a video for YouTube. Today was pretty tough, a little harder than I expected, and I think largely that was just getting a slow start and not sleeping very well last night. So I'm trying to set myself up for success tonight. I found a nice flat campsite, and I'm going to try to get to bed a little earlier, pop some Advil, old man stuff, wear my compression socks, more old man stuff, and because tomorrow is going to be harder. It's the same miles technically, but there's more up and just steeper up, like some of the things I came down today that I have to go up tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to, and it's going to be a little bit longer if I decide to camp at Liberty Lake, so that'll add about 2 extra miles. So we shall see how that goes. I'm gonna lay down and read for a little while. It's only 6:15, so I'll probably read for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then start making my dinner. Good morning. Slept like a champ last night. Feeling super good and energized this morning. I fell asleep around 9:30, 9:45, something like that. Woke up a little after 3 for a pee, and then slept straight again till 6. So feeling really good. The plan for today, as it is to walk from here 2 miles to that water source, fill up what I need to walk the 10 miles to that furlong spring. Somewhere in between there, probably on one of the summits, I will eat lunch. And then at furlong, I'll stop and take a good long break, drink a lot of water, eat some food. And then if I'm feeling good, I'm going to push all the way up to Liberty Lake to camp. And if I'm not feeling that great, I'll camp at one of the lower lakes. And then tomorrow morning, up over Liberty Pass and back out to the car. Let's get this party started. So the plan was to get an earlier start this morning than I did yesterday. Yesterday I left camp around 8 o'clock. And it was fine. I mean, by the time I got to this campsite, I wasn't tanked. Like if I'd had to walk a few more miles, I definitely could have. But it is right now 7, and it's raining. So I think I'm going to hang out here for a little while and see if this passes. And if it doesn't, I will have to make some other decisions. But I most certainly don't want to head out towards the high point of the trail in a rainstorm.
All right, well, a decision has been made. It's 8:20, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. I'm going to walk back towards the car. I won't make it all the way there tonight. I'll have to camp one more night. But the bulk of the plan remains intact. 2 miles to water, 10 miles to the next water, and then down into the lake basin. And depending on how I'm feeling and what the weather looks like, either stay low at the same lake I camped at the first night, or work my way up the ridge towards Liberty Lake and stay there. But that is a decision for later in the day. Right now, I just need to get moving and try to cover some ground. I made a slight change to how my bag is packed. Carrying the Durston X-Dome 1P, which has a fly first setup. So my rain fly poles and stakes and all that are easily accessible towards the top of the pack and along the outside pockets, so that if I do need to buckle down and have some emergency shelter, everything's at the ready. I can grab it real quick without water getting inside my pack and getting the rest of my gear wet. So, better safe than sorry, I reckon. You are right in my way, miss. What are we gonna do about that? I feel like you should be lower, down there with your friends in the grass. Oh, there's a couple of you. Huh. Well, I was moving along pretty quickly, and now there is a small herd of cattle right on the trail. So I climbed up side of this little cliff face to let them go past, but they are not in a hurry. And I can't move forward until they go by. Hey, buddy. You're okay. I'm just gonna sit right here until you go by. Yeah. There you go. Good job. There we go. Good job. Keep on going. I'm just gonna scooch on by. All right, you all have a good day. Enjoy your breakfast. Thanks for letting me pass. I appreciate it. Found a couple of stragglers, and they are not keen on scooting aside. Go on. I'm a friend. I don't even eat you guys. So that guy will not move. Flat out refuses. So I've decided to go cross country a little bit, meet the trail up this way. The other cow up front there seems more inclined to walk, so hopefully he'll be easier to get around.
Well, it's 9:40. I'm at my water source. I lost 25-30 minutes probably dealing with the cattle. I was moving really well. And then they decided I had different plans. So got a little cross-country adventure to get around those last two. And I am back on track. So I'm gonna eat some food here and fill up all my water and get moving. What a day. Well, my pack is quite a bit heavier now. I grabbed a little over 3 liters, which is exactly what I carried yesterday between water sources, so hopefully it's enough. Now I'm headed into the land of many switchbacks. Up, up, up all day. At 11:30, 11:37 to be exact, and I'm at the spot where I bumped in to those 2 through hikers yesterday. I met them at 2 o'clock, and they left from the same lake I did at 8 a.m. So, feeling pretty good, moving well. Got a break in the clouds. That's kind of hot again. I just saw all those goats again when I wasn't fast enough with my camera. So, whew, straight on to Wines and then the downhill part. I'm looking forward to the downhill part. So back in 2021, when I was out on this trail and injured, I sat beneath this very tree and went to film a video to just talk about how I was feeling. I forgot to move the slider and I took an accidental selfie. Over the years, that photo has become one of my favorite photos of myself. It's the avatar for my Instagram channel and my YouTube channel. I'm sure if you've visited any of those, you've seen it. It's kind of a black and white close-up of my face. And every time I look at that picture, I remember the pain that I was in. I remember the self-doubt. I remember the fear. Because I sat here under this tree and I debated, do I hit the SOS button? Do I just call it and have somebody come get me? There's a campsite no more than 400 yards from here. I could ration my water. But that's not what I did. I walked all the way to Overland Lake, every agonizing step of the way. So when I see that photo, I don't see the fear and I don't see the self-doubt. I don't see the pain. I see resilience and I see strength. And it makes me really proud of myself. It's good to be back here. Not feeling pain, not feeling self-doubt, and not considering hitting an SOS button. It's 106, and I'm at the top of the first of the 3 big passes. So I've got one more, and then Wines, and then downhill. I've walked just under 8 miles so far this morning,
and I have about 8 to go if I'm gonna camp at Liberty Lake. So could be shorter than that if I decide to camp at one of the lower lakes, but it won't be any more than 8 more miles. So feeling pretty good. The trail's much harder this direction. That last push up to this summit kicked my butt. So I'm gonna rest here for a while and eat, and then go get my butt kicked 2 more times. So the second pass was actually easier this direction, which I was not anticipating, but I'll take it. And then there's a pretty long cruisy stretch in between the second peak and the beginning of the climb up to Wines. So I am almost done with the cruisy bit and looking at starting the climb. It's quite a bit cooler this afternoon. It rained on me a little bit coming down the second pass. Not enough to put my rain jacket on, but enough that I noticed. So I think the cooler temperatures are helping a lot. I'm not as overheated and exhausted. I'm drinking way less water than I thought I would. So all good things. On my way to the last big climb of the day. And then it's all downhill to the lake basin. And then I can choose to go uphill to Liberty Lake or camp a little bit lower in the basin. I'm still undecided. We'll see how it goes. It's about 3:45 and I'm working my way down the switchbacks on the other side of Wines. Stopped for, I don't know, almost half an hour up towards the top. Talked to this guy named Greg, who was really, really nice. We swapped hiking stories, compared backpacks and stuff. So absolutely worth the time spent. But moving again, and still haven't decided where I'm going to camp. So it's about 4:15. I just passed the spring at Furlong. I don't need any water. Got plenty to get me to camp. So I figure I'd just keep on walking. I think I am going to make the push up to Liberty. Try to camp there. Have a different camping experience than I did the first night. So there you go. We have a plan. Made it to Liberty Lake around 6 o'clock. Kind of walked around looking for a campsite. There's a couple pretty nice ones right on the water, but after last night, just getting slammed with wind all night, I opted for something kind of away from the water, tucked into the brush, a little more sheltered. Probably gonna eat my dinner sitting right where I'm sitting right now and just filtering water. But holy cow, this is beautiful. All right. Well, my dinner's getting ready. Let's talk about these shoes. They worked out better than I thought they would. No hot spots, no blisters. I did 5.6 miles the first day, 15 the second day, and about 17 today. And my feet feel fine. They're definitely not as supportive as my topos, especially through the arch and the ankle. So my feet got fatigued faster in these than they do in my usual hiking shoes. But overall, for a last minute score in a small town, they worked pretty good. Would I wear them on another hike? No, definitely not. Would I recommend them to someone else to hike in? Probably not. They were fine. They did okay. But really looking forward to putting them on one last time tomorrow morning and not hiking in them anymore. Good morning. It's about 6:48. I'm up and mostly packed. I've got a few little last minute things to do around the campsite. But I decided to climb up onto this rock, eat my breakfast, and have my coffee with a view of this lake. Just kind of soak in this last day. I've only got about 4 miles back to the car. And I want to enjoy it. You know, I want to enjoy going back over Liberty Pass. I want to enjoy Liberty Lake in all of its glory. So I'm just going to kind of take my time today and soak in these last few hours. I needed this. I really needed this trip. I was so disappointed when the Highline Trail fell through, and even more so when we actually made it out to the Sierras and then got turned back by all that smoke. It was not in a good place mentally, dealing with all that. We put so much time and effort into planning the Highline Trail, and just to have it stripped away was really disappointing and depressing. And then to immediately pivot and be able to put together such a cool trip over Paiute Pass and all that, and have that stripped away too, was not doing well. And I know that sounds silly, and I know it sounds kind of first world problem, but this week, this Labor Day week, is kind of the last hurrah for backpacking in the West. You know, the weather's going to change very quickly. So this has always traditionally been kind of our end of the summer cap, and it's always been an epic, amazing trip. And the Rubies didn't disappoint. I do wish Brian and Devin could have come with me. That's the only thing I would have changed about coming up here and hiking this half of the Ruby Crest Trail. I would have loved to have shared this experience with my friends. But all in all, this is exactly what I needed.